Okay, welcome to part two. This is the money for old rope section, as I like to call it. So we've got these first two chord changes that we've just been, hopefully you've been practicing. Now, one of the great things about guitar is sometimes you can just move the shape onto a different set of strings and get a different sound. So let's do exactly that. These first two fingers that we started off with, if you just simply move them onto the next two strings along, in other words, the two middle strings. So you're now on the second fret of the D string and the second fret of the G string. Okay, again, all the same rules apply. Make sure you don't catch the strings underneath with the third finger there. This time we have to be a little bit more careful though with the picking hand. Okay, we don't really want to play this bottom E string if possible. Now we can still use the thumb to mute it, but it'd be good if you can kind of practice as you pick the strings, as the pick comes down onto the strings. It may look like, how the hell am I ever going to do that? But what you're aiming to do is to bring the pick down so that it actually strikes the A string first. I'm thinking about this as I'm saying it, and I'm thinking that must look really difficult, but it actually doesn't feel too difficult. Try and keep the thumb round, just mute the bottom E string just in case you do hit it. But essentially what you want is the top five strings. Okay, you have that really cool sounding, it's actually called an A sus2 if you're interested. You're probably not. Main thing is it sounds nice. So that's the first chord, and again we're just going to do exactly the same movement. Keep the second finger on that string, just slide it up, and then place the first finger on the second fret there. Move that up a tone, 2 frets, back down, back down to our original position again. So to begin with, we're just going to do the same rhythm because I just want you to try and get used to missing the bottom E string, and then maybe we'll try a different, slightly more involved rhythm. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4. Got a bit of a Spanish vibe to that one. Okay, so that's the same shapes as we had for the first section. However, part of the reason I wanted to do this video was to try and inspire you to think, oh, why not move those shapes around a bit? Why not? Okay, we've got that shape. We've moved it up 2 frets. What would it sound like if we moved it up, for example, another 2 frets? That sounds great. You get all this complex harmonic movement going on, and all we're doing is just moving 2 fingers around. When I'm moving this position around, I'm keeping my point of reference is actually the second finger. So it kind of starts off on the 7th fret. I don't know if you've got dots on your guitar, or I've got a kind of a wacky star pattern on this, which is probably not going to help. But I've also got some dots on the top of the neck. And so my second finger starts around the 7th fret, which is actually the 3rd dot. Goes down to the 3rd fret there, up to the 5th, back to the 7th. So I'm just kind of watching the dots really, and just seeing what it sounds like. This is what it sounds like. Okay, Exactly the same kind of thing. I've obviously made the rhythm part a little bit more interesting. I'm sorry if that was a bit of a shock then. Crotchets, 1, 2, 3, 4. We dealt with quavers, which is actually 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that rhythm was based on semi-quavers, which is 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Okay, so it's basically 16 times in a bar. So crotchets 4 times in a bar, quavers 8 times, semi-quaver 16. Sorry if that sounds confusing. I'll just play it to you and you can hear what it sounds like. Which is the most important thing, let's be honest here. Okay, it's really very, very important to keep the wrist, the picking hand wrist, as loose as possible. Imagine that you're unconscious and someone's kind of shaking your arm. That's how loose the picking hand needs to be. As soon as you tighten up, as soon as you hit the pick too hard, then you have a tendency to sometimes you get stuck. The pick gets stuck on the strings. You end up dropping picks. It goes down the hole, which is always really, really annoying. You kind of have to shake it upside down for 10 minutes trying to get it back out again. So keep the wrist as loose as possible, the arm as loose as possible, and you kind of hold the pick basically as the same loose as possible again. Just give it just enough pressure so that it doesn't fall out of your hands when you're hitting the strings. And really what I'm doing when it sounds louder, when I'm getting the accents, is not so much, I'm not hitting it harder. All I'm doing is actually just using a bit more of the pick to hit the strings with. So I'm actually just dipping the pick a little further into the strings, just for those dynamics. I was kind of giving it, I was putting some unusual rhythmic things in there. It was like, which in itself is quite a good exercise. So down, up, down, down, up. I missed. Let's try that again. 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. One more time. 3 and a down. And in between those accents, I was just adding a few more random string things. So 2, 3, 4. So what I'd like you to do is to maybe even experiment with this shape. You know, try it on other frets. Doesn't sound too bad there. Oh, that's not bad. Because your mission, by the time you finish the DVD, is to hopefully have written a chord progression that you like, maybe even a complete song. I'd like to hopefully inspire you to go and write some guitar music. I listen to the charts and I don't hear much guitar music. Please go and write some, record some, and make lots of money and leave it to me. That'll be cool. Okay, so Okay, again, I've just taken that simple shape. I've just made that up on the spot. I thought, this is quite a nice vibe. You know, there's no rules with guitar, thankfully. Just mess around and see what you can come up with. Again, we can maybe take that first shape that we dealt with here. Maybe try moving that shape. That's quite a nice position. Okay, that works. So we're on the 2nd fret. I'm going to move that up to the 5th fret. That's a lovely sound. Maybe up to the 7th fret. Back to the 5th. Okay, you can probably see what I was doing there. All downstrokes on that A string, and then just occasionally, that's called a rake when you drag the pick across the strings. So I'm just occasionally adding a rake of the chord shape. That time I added a little bit of tiny bit of the side of the hand over that string, just to try and separate the sound of the bass strings and the top strings. You know, go and experiment. And I'll see you in section number 3.